Survivors of sexual assault are making a statement through art. See how their exhibit is helping to raise awareness.
A march against gun violence occurred this weekend nationwide. We'll show you what that looked like for the local community.
Also, we take a look at how student athletes from around the world adjust to life here in Manhattan.
We've stepped into spring, but will winter be getting some last kicks? I'll have the answer for you and more coming up today on Channel 8 News.
KKSU-LD, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Blake Reed.
And I'm Chase Swenson.
A recent measles outbreak in Kansas has health officials investigating how people are contracting the virus. Currently in Kansas, there are 10 known cases of measles, with 8 of those cases being in Johnson County. Measles is a highly contagious virus that can be spread by doing simple things like coughing or sneezing. Lafayette Health Center nursing coordinator Abby King tells us how you can protect yourself from the virus and what it looks like.
So measles is a virus, and it is preventable if you get 2 MMR vaccines. That's measles, mumps, and rubella. Symptoms for it usually start out very like a mild to moderate fever, cough, maybe sore throat.
10 seconds.
Maybe even like itchy eyes.
This past weekend, local residents gathered as part of a march against gun violence in America. I had the opportunity to speak with those who partook in the event.
The young people who created this movement, you are incredible. You keep pushing. You have created more discussion around this topic than we've had for decades.
The nationwide movement March for Our Lives arrived in the Manhattan area over the weekend. People of all ages showed up to Seco Park to protest against recent gun violence in high schools across America. The movement, spearheaded by high schoolers across the nation, was brought to the Manhattan area by a local resident, Alex Van Dyke. Alex stated that the community support of the event was instrumental in its success.
I could not have done this on my own, and there's been help from K-State students, just people reaching out on their own accord, and that's been great to see. I know K-State, and I know that Manhattan has an amazing community behind it, and to see this all move in a great direction with the community has been fantastic.
It may have been a chilly day last Saturday here at Seco Park, but that didn't stop hundreds of marchers from coming here to have their voices heard. They started right here at the Ludwig Youth Sports Complex. They headed this way. The march concluded right here at the baseball fields, where they had several key speakers ranging from local high school students to members of the school board, where they talked about the issue of gun control. Among the speakers was a candidate for Riley County Commission, Aaron Estabrook. Among his stances as a politician is a call for tighter gun control.
We have 2 institutions in our community. We have Fort Riley and we have Kansas State. One of them allows concealed carry with no training, and the other one is a military base, and I think we should listen to our military folks.
Local residents who attended the march remain confident and optimistic that change can occur. In Manhattan, I'm Chase Swenson, Channel 8 News.
For more information on the March for Our Lives movement, visit their website at marchforourlives.com.
This summer, Kansas will see stricter penalties on those charged with driving under the influence that cause serious injury or death. Earlier this month, Governor Jeff Coyer signed a new law known as Caitlin's Law. The law was named after Caitlin Vogel, who was killed by a driver who had a previous DUI incidents. The new law enforces stricter penalties on repeat DUI offenders. The law will take effect starting in July. At the University of Kansas, the University of Kansas recently suspended all fraternities from social activities due to investigations on some fraternities. Channel 8 reporter Adam Cook looks at what this can mean for K-State.
Before the 2017 fall semester, Kansas State University disassociated themselves from Greek life, making fraternities and sororities independent student organizations. The Greek community has been around since 1913 and holds 19 sororities and 30 fraternities. Approximately 4,000 students were affected by these changes.
So the past year we've gone through several changes. The big one is we became an independent student organization, meaning we're no longer affiliated with the university. Basically what that means for us, I think the biggest way that affects us is our funding. So we're no longer funded in any way by the universities.
The student leadership has stepped up to fill a void. I think that they are acting and serving and making decisions that are really critical for the population that they serve.
Recent changes in the Interfraternity Council aren't just a Kansas State issue. Many other colleges are making drastic changes to try and better their Greek system, the most notable being KU. The University of Kansas recently suspended all fraternities from social activities due to multiple investigations on a few fraternities. Sigma Alpha Epsilon was shut down due to health and safety concerns. Jeremy Campbell says he doesn't see something as drastic as that happening at Kansas State.
Their solutions are probably different than our solutions, so that's as vague as it's going to get. I don't know. I don't foresee that in the future. As of right now, no.
From Manhattan, I'm Adam Cook, Channel 8 News.
Kansas State doesn't plan on taking drastic measures like KU. However, they are still working to changing the program for the better.
Coming up after the break, see how the Kansas State Union Program Council and students are teaming up for Sexual Awareness Month. Plus, Shanice McGregor from the Center for Advocacy, Response, and Education will sit down with Channel 8 reporter Margot Coltrane to talk about their involvement with the sexual assault awareness. We'll be back in just 90 seconds.
I know a spot that I love full well.
'Tis not in forest, nor yet in dell. Ever it holds me with magic spell.
I think of thee, alma mater.
Carry thy banner high. Long, long, may thy colors fly.
Loyal to thee, thy children will swell the cry. Hail, 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 alma mater.
Research. It's applying the bigger picture toward the greater good. Defending the world from adversaries, both seen and unseen. Interpreting realities to unlock solutions. It's our land-grant mission to serve our world utilizing sharp minds, from first-year students to world-renowned experts. What makes research so strong at Kansas State University? Vision, progress, you.
To start off Sexual Harassment Awareness Month, the Center for Advocacy, Response, and Education is teaming up with the Union Program Council and K-State students to display powerful stories of victims from sexual assault. The What Were You Wearing exhibit is displayed in the William T. Kemper Foundation Art Gallery until April 6th to bring awareness to sexual assault and to convey the message that it is not the victim's fault. The exhibit came as a personal project from one person from the CARE office.
Gabby Hull from the CARE office reached out to UPC to recreate this here on campus. So she's part of the CARE office, and so she basically did a call for submissions, and it was anonymous, but survivors could write up a story of what they were wearing and what happened to them, as much detail as they wanted to give, and then she got clothes to represent those outfits and then printed them off. So basically it was just something that she was passionate about and wanted to bring awareness to K-State, and so yeah, she made it happen.
CARE is not the only organization working to support sexual assault victims. Some students are using their experience to help others going through similar situations.
As a sophomore in high school, Polly Nations was sexually assaulted by her then boyfriend. Now a sophomore at K-State, Nations is using what she learned from her experience to be an advocate for others in similar situations.
For me, it was just like one person who's affected is one person who's changed forever. Their life has changed forever. And I decided that, you know, there should be something more that I can do with it than just listen to testimonials, than just wish that it wouldn't happen.
In recent years, K-State has been under investigation for its lack of compliance with Title IX, the policy that prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in any federally funded education program.
It's traumatizing to be sexually assaulted and to be continually confronted with the person who perpetrated that rape. Shouldn't happen to anyone. And our administration has refused to consider changing that policy. And I think that's a serious mistake.
The month of April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and many events will be held on campus to raise awareness of the topic. One such event is the What Were You Wearing exhibit here in the K-State Student Union. It displays the clothing that local sexual assault victims were wearing at the time of their attack, as well as a personal, detailed account of what exactly happened to them. Nations, who donated some of her own clothes to the exhibit, hopes that through her own journey and the resources available to students, people and K-State will be inspired to make a change.
K-State should be the university that steps up and accepts that, yes, this happens at our university, but we're here as a family and we fight through adversity together.
In Manhattan, I'm Margot Coltrane, Channel 8 News.
For anyone who has experienced sexual assault, there are multiple resources on campus and in Manhattan. Wildcat Walk is a program that lets individuals feeling unsafe be escorted by the K-State Police Department up to 2 blocks off of campus. You can report any instances of sexual assault, dating violence, stalking, or harassment on campus property at the Office of Institutional Equality at 785-532-6220. For survivors of sexual assault, K-State Counseling Service offers support and can be contacted at 785-532-6927. Shanice McGregor is joining us to talk with our reporter Margot Coltrane about how the CARE office is involved with Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Margot?
Thanks, guys, and thank you, Shanice, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So what exactly is the CARE office?
So the CARE office, the Center for Advocacy, Response, and Education, is a place where we give confidential services and resources to students, staff, and faculty regarding sexual violence, domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, and harassment.
What are some of the specific services that you offer?
So we give support, we give medical advocacy, court advocacy, we help people if they want to report to the university, help them with that process as far as who to contact and who to report to.
What do you find is the most rewarding part about your job?
What I find most rewarding is that I get to meet students where they are, and everybody that we serve where they are, and to see them, their personal growth, and see them in their in a vulnerable stage, and just see them uproot from that.
What are some of the events coming up for Sexual Assault Awareness Month?
So we do have What Were You Wearing, that Survivor Art exhibit that we have going on right now in April the 6th. We also have a hashtag Survivor Love Letter campaign, and that will be held on Instagram, Facebook, and it will basically be the K-State community encouraging and empowering survivors on social media. And then we also have a day of silence, basically empowering underserved populations.
What is some advice that you have, lastly, for any viewers out there who may be needing some help like this?
Yeah, the CARE office is always, we're welcoming, and we would love to service you and get you the help that you need. And we're located in Houghton Hall, 206 Houghton Hall.
Well, thank you so much again, Shanice, for being here today.
Yes.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Margot. It's springtime in Kansas, and that can mean heavy rains and severe weather in coming weeks. But living in Kansas, we could see some snow this weekend. Grant Meller will let you know after the break.
And we're out. Good job, everyone.
Bottom of the 9th, Cats and Sooners tied at 5, and the Cats trying to win a Big 12 title for the first time ever. Outside, it gets away to the plate. Kansas State has its title.
Ships it in the middle. Header into the goal. For K-State.
The best kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP's Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
I was so pleased with what I saw on the discussion boards last night. Who started the module?
K-State Global Campus offers flexible online learning, the same name brand education,
quality programs, and recognized award-winning professors with the flexibility to fit your life.
We'll be working on Project 3 this week. It's a group project.
For your comfort and safety, vital baggage must be stored in the overhead.
K-State Global Campus. Always on, always there.
Welcome back to Channel 8. I'm Grant Miller. Here with a look at your weather. We are officially in the severe weather season, and that means being prepared for potentially hazardous storms. I had a chance to talk to National Weather Service meteorologist Chad Omit about how to prepare when the skies turn violent. Spring is rolling in, and with it, inevitable severe weather. Every year, the Midwest experiences numerous flash floods, tornadoes, and severe thunderstorms, often causing damage to homes and businesses, and can be potentially fatal. Riley County's Community Emergency Response Team puts together an annual severe weather conference. National Weather Severe Meteorologist Chad Omit shared information and tips for dealing with the hazardous weather.
And so every year it's a fact of life in Kansas. We're going to have severe weather. We're going to have severe storms. It's just a matter of knowing what to do to reduce your risk. And so that's what we do tonight. We talk a lot about tornadoes and we talk about lightning and flooding and ways to reduce your risk from those hazards.
One of the first items to consider in the severe weather season is having a plan and being ready to act. An important first step in preparing to leave during severe weather is knowing which routes to take. Certain roads tend to flood, so it's good to look on your city's flood map and detect which areas are prone to heavier rainwaters. However, despite the increased weather risks, not everyone feels the need to lay out a detailed plan.
I really only have a plan for tornadoes, and in the case of tornadoes, I just go to the K-State Union and go down below where the bowling alley is. Anything else, I just stay in my apartment.
The city of Manhattan has installed new draining systems, such as the one located on Quivira and College Heights, to help prevent flooding, but still urges people to be careful when driving in heavy rains and to have a plan in case of severe weather. Now that we have taken a look at what to do to prepare for severe weather, let's see what the temperatures are around the country. If you look at your northeast region, you'll see Seattle has experienced some low 50s, and you'll see that as a trend across the northern hemisphere, or the northern part, of the nation. Kind of a cold front has been pushing down, and it's gonna mesh with these warmer temperatures on the southern regions. You'll see Los Angeles is experiencing a nice balmy 80 degrees, sunny skies, and that's gonna start to go away, as well as Houston once this cold front pushes down. Once we hit together, we're going to move to our state map. We're going to see what happens when these clash. In our region, we'll see the cold front's already moved through kind of the northeastern region, and that temperature trend is going to follow through the rest of the state as we go through. And we're going to start experiencing those temperatures to kind of mesh together. If we go ahead and look at our next 24 hours, we can see that it is going to be mostly sunny. Today, we will be experiencing a little bit of sun poking through, not mostly sun, it'll be cloudy, but we will see some sun poking through the clouds. You're going to be in the mid-50s. It's going to be somewhat comfortable. This evening, it's going to drop a little bit. Once again, that cold front is pushing down, but the sun will be poking through occasionally again. Once again, cloudy skies for most of the day, but you will get a little bit of sunlight. Tomorrow, when you're going to work, you expect it to be cloudy, a normal trend for this week. You can also expect it to be much colder, so be prepared for that. If we take a look at our 5-day forecast, you can see it on Friday. It will be a little warmer, but it will drop down throughout the rest of the week. On Saturday, cloudy with a little bit of sun peeking through once again. Through the Saturday, Sunday, on Easter Sunday, be prepared. There is a 20 to 30% chance of snow coming in through the night and into the early morning. As we go into Monday, it's going to warm up a little bit. We're in the high 50s, but it is going to drop down as the night enters in. On Tuesday, be prepared for rain. So that's going to do it for our weather today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Grant. Brett Huntington is here with sports. What's going on this week, Brett?
Yeah, so the K-State Wildcats make the Elite Eight for the first time in 8 years and the first time under head coach Bruce Weber. And an inside look at K-State's tennis roster coming up next.
Schultz one, high and deep to left, goodbye.
Shot to right, K-State's going to try and score two. Another play at the play, but this time Brevin slides past the tag. And Brad Hill is the all-time winningest coach in K-State history.
We are
a family that does not tolerate discrimination of any kind.
A family that believes diversity, inclusion, and sportsmanship are expectations.
A family that is supportive and seeks to promote a positive environment.
a family that treats all people with respect and dignity.
No matter their color, creed, gender, ethnicity, or sexual orientation.
We are an empowered family
who empowers family.
Welcome to K-State. This is who we are.
Update. A lot can change in a year. This time, a year ago, the K-State's men's basketball team was out in the first round of the NCAA tournament. This year, the Wildcats found themselves making their 13th Elite Eight appearance in school history. K-State had wins over the Creighton Blue Jays in the first round, UMBC in the second round, and John Calipari and the Kentucky Wildcats in the Sweet 16. K-State's run came to an end against Loyola Chicago in the Elite Eight, though. The Wildcats will have plenty to be happy about, though, this offseason, with all 5 starters set to return for Bruce Weber's Wildcats. As for the Final Four in San Antonio, the number 11 seed Loyola Chicago Ramblers will face off against the number 3 ranked Michigan Wolverines this Saturday at 5 p.m. Following the end of the first semifinal, the number 1 ranked Villanova Wildcats will battle another 1 seed in the Kansas Jayhawks. On Tuesday, the K-State's men's baseball team took on the Omaha Mavericks in a game that ended K-State's 4-game losing skid. In the top of the 8th, the Mavericks had 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs, but reliever Tyler Ekberg struck out Thomas Devonville to keep the Mavs off the scoreboard. A walk began a string of 4 straight Wildcat batters to reach in the bottom of the 8th inning. Brett Owen and Will Brennan each singled in the inning. This came before Dylan Watts came to bat and brought in the game's first 2 runs. 1 batter later, Drew Mount's RBI groundout scored Brennan to cap the Wildcats' 3-run inning. Some athletes move across the country to play here at K-State, others across the ocean. Channel 8 reporter Jared Sleppy takes a look how these athletes handle the transition.
Kansas State University is home to 21,400 students. From these, over 1,700 of them come from 100-plus different countries to further their education, experience a different culture, and achieve the American dream. But for some students, like Inish Mesquita, a sophomore on the tennis team from Portugal, they come to improve athletically and compete against some of the best competition in the world.
I didn't know much about the United States when I first came here, and Danielle talked to me on Facebook, and she went to Portugal to talk to me about it. And she told me about all the qualities at school and tennis.
She might have had to drop everything she had to live a new life in the States, but so far she has been loving her new life at Kansas State. However, as you would imagine, it was not an easy transition at first.
Some nights I just wanted to go home at the beginning, but then I just thought about the support everybody was giving me, not only the coaches and team, but also in the academics.
Of the 8 players on the tennis team, 6 of them are from foreign countries, and the coaches and teammates are doing everything they can to feel well adjusted.
All of the girls are very supportive of each other and are not only meshing well on the court, but off the court as well.
We eat together, we do a lot of fun stuff together. So traveling is one of the main things we're doing together, and we always have a lot of fun.
Overall, this team has come together very well and are currently ranked number 32 in the country. In Manhattan, I'm Jared Sleppy, Channel 8 News.
The Kansas State tennis team will be back in action next Friday at West Virginia. Their next home match will be on April 12th against KU. Back to March Madness, my bracket is definitely busted, but it is good to see the Big 12 represented in KU. Hopefully, maybe they can get a win. But back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brett. Yeah, my bracket's busted as well, but the K-State Wildcats did pretty good this season.
They did, but boy howdy, did that ruin my bracket. It was a rough go.
Yeah. Well, warmer temperatures and green thumbs go hand in hand. See how those in Manhattan are dealing with spring fever.
Plus, our very own Grant Miller will have one last look at your 5-day forecast.
Good guy. Not bad. Good.
Schultz one. High and deep to left. Goodbye.
Shot to right. K-State's going to try and score 2. Another play at the plate, but this time Brevin slides past the tag. And Brad Hill is the all-time winningest coach in K-State history.
We are.
A family that does not tolerate discrimination of any kind.
A family that believes diversity, inclusion, and sportsmanship are expectations.
A family that is supportive and seeks to promote a positive environment.
A family that treats all people with respect and dignity.
No matter their color, creed, gender, ethnicity, or sexual orientation.
We are
an empowered family
who empowers family.
Welcome to K-State. This is who we are.
As residents in the community prepare for spring, there are many opportunities for them to learn about crops they can plant in their very own backyards. Channel 8 reporter Tiffany Horn has more.
Spring is a time for fun breaks and blossoming crops and goods. K-State has multiple ways for the community to get involved in growing their own organic fruits and vegetables. One being the annual farmers market.
But it's actually really easy to grow things in your own yard. And so that's kind of what Farm Club is about, is we want to help people gain the knowledge to know how to have a small garden in their backyards.
Another way would be to take a tour at the KSU Community Garden to watch the process of crops and flowers grow. March and April showers will eventually bring in May flowers. K-State offers a lot when it comes to agriculture, like the KSU Gardens and the farmers market. I guess you can say spring planting is like a work of art. In the Mark A. Chapman Gallery, K-State graduate student Taylor Clover has opened a new gallery that incorporates art and planting called Cultivate.
People who wouldn't think about gardening, people who wouldn't consider growing their own food, how could I activate them and connect with them ideally?
This gallery shows guests step by step on how to properly soil, water, and care for their crops.
There's an interactive place where you can plant different seeds and be able to watch them grow, so that's really cool.
There are some therapeutic benefits in growing your own crops.
It's a really beautiful connection with nature and with the earth.
Anyone could come to the gallery to make their own personal garden, to grow their own vegetables, fruits, and herbs. In Manhattan, I'm Tiffany Horn, Channel 8 News.
If you feel like you might have a green thumb and want to learn more about this exhibit, you can visit Willard Hall, room 111 on K-State's campus.
Now let's go back to our weatherman, Grant Miller, for one last look at your weather.
So we are going to take one last look at our 5-day forecast here as we're heading out. As you can see, on Friday, we are going to get a little bit of respite from the cold front, 60s, low 60s on Friday. Heading into Saturday, you can expect it to be mid-60s. Expect a little bit, potentially a low chance of snow on Easter Sunday. So that is something you can be looking forward to or looking towards heading in. On Monday, you will expect it to heat up again, and that's what we can expect for our 5-day forecast.
So Grant, this weekend's Easter. How are you spending your weekend?
Well, I will be working over the weekend. However, I have made some plans with family coming up into town, so that's going to be exciting.
All right, that's all we have time for this week.
Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
This is Channel 8 News.